Just waiting for somebody to come on. I'm going to be talking about the alumni program today, answering any questions that anybody has in the comments, and also just going over what it's all about. And then talking a little bit about my morning routine. I did ask for what people wanted me to talk about today, and someone asked me about my morning routine. I'll also talk about what happens when that gets a little out of whack, because that does happen, especially I just went on my honeymoon, so when I came back and after a week of being a little out of routine, it's definitely hard to get right back on it. I did just get a new puppy, so that also has been affecting my morning routine. He is passed out, and Michael's sitting with him on the front porch, so he stole him from me. And if you go to my Facebook profile or my Instagram account, you can see a picture of him. He's so cute, and my Instagram story is going to be full of videos of him. So his name is Otis. You can see him there. I am really excited about the alumni program launching, and there's some really important details that I know I'm going to have to answer these questions 1,000 times. So for those of you that are listening, if you see other people in the Facebook group ask these questions, definitely step in and either tag me so I can answer them again, or you can go ahead and answer them based off the information that's in this video, the information that's in the blog post on the WAG blog. We're going to send out an email about it. We are going to put the information in as many places as possible. You can also email info@workingagainstgravity.com for any of those questions as well. I still know that, there's a lot of you, so sometimes the information gets lost. Not everybody's on Facebook right now, so it would be awesome if you guys could help me bring this information to everybody. So the alumni program is something that really came out of you guys. So I have always been the type of business owner that loves the fact that we do one thing, and we do one thing really well. We do one thing, it's one program, it's one price, we never discount it, and it just is super simple from the administrative standpoint. It's super simple from an organizational standpoint. We just do one thing. And then I kept hearing over and over and over, the number one piece of feedback we kept getting was that they want to continue with Working Against Gravity, but it's a little bit too expensive, and also that they don't need the weekly check-ins anymore. So it's too expensive for not needing the weekly check-ins. So they don't want to completely get cut off from Working Against Gravity altogether, want to stay connected to the community, want to still be part of the Facebook group, but don't necessarily need as much accountability. Is there a WAG Lite, I guess, option? So that's why we created the alumni program. It is called the alumni program because being an alumni constitutes some type of graduation. So you will have to qualify for this alumni program, and there's a really specific reason as to why we want to do that. So the only way you're going to qualify for the alumni program is if you're on Working Against Gravity for a consecutive 6 months. That's a really specific rule. There's going to be a lot of people that fall outside of this rule that maybe were with WAG for a year, took 4 months off, and now want to come back in the alumni, but not the regular program. It's not going to be an option for those people. The reason is when you go away for 4 months, a lot of things change. You might get set up with a new coach. You might need a whole new set of macros. You might need everything assessed. Your goals have changed. Your coach is not necessarily up to date on what's going on in your life, and we all know things change so often. So we want to keep things really cohesive. We want to make sure we're giving you the highest value possible, and I believe that the only way to do this is to do it consecutive, straight across. So that's what we're going to start it out with. I like keeping things super simple, black and white, 6 months consecutive, and then you can qualify for the alumni program, and that's going to be an $80 a month program. US dollars, as opposed to the current price is $160 a month. So it's half the price. You're going to get one check-in with your coach a month. You're still going to have access to the messages. We're going to wait on that and see, right now you're going to have full access to the messages. I'm hoping that people that are at 6 months plus are not going to completely abuse the messages and ask for macro changes through there, or, start doing their check-ins through the messages. Because that's the whole point, is to give you some accountability on your own and less dependence on your coach. So you're going to get one check-in a month, and we've been working for the past 4.5 months on an entire new education series for the people that are in the alumni program. So for those of you, everyone's in Seismic right now. Then there's a knowledge base for Seismic for all of the WAG members. There's going to be a knowledge base just for the alumni members. There's going to be a bunch of downloadable items that can help you keep accountability to yourself. There's going to be a bunch of guides that talk about intuitive eating, about maintenance, about how to choose your goals for yourself, a little bit of stuff about how to make adjustments for yourself on the fly, as well as a bunch of other stuff like estimating, a lot of infographics, as well. On top of that knowledge base that we're going to be constantly updating, there's going to be an email series, just like the beginner email series that everyone on the regular WAG program gets. It's going to be one that's specifically for the alumni program. So once you've opted into the alumni program, you're going to get a whole email series that's dedicated to that as well. So we've been working really hard to make sure that this is not just less check-ins. This is less check-ins, a little bit less accountability, a little bit more independence, and also jam-packed with knowledge so that you guys can actually be successful. My worst nightmare would be giving people less accountability and a cheaper option, and for people to be choosing the cheaper option before they're actually ready and, regressing and not having that weekly check-in when they actually needed it. So that would be awful. And what I really want is for people to opt into the alumni program when they're totally ready for it. And we're also going to have a quiz that's even going to help you decide whether you're ready. So we came up with this quiz that's going to have a rating of 1 to 3. And there's a bunch of different items on this quiz. And you're going to rank yourself on different things like, have you mastered going out to restaurants? Are you satisfied with your relationship with food? Different things like that. And then by the end of it, if you have hit 80% or more, we think you're totally ready for the alumni program. If you're still under that, then we think you might want to consider not going to the alumni program just yet and waiting till you've worked on those things that are at a 1 or a 2 and wait till your score gets a little bit higher. So that quiz is going to be available. We're not going to stop people from opting into the alumni program. You totally can if you're eligible and you're ready to do so. But the quiz is hopefully just to educate people so they don't go to the alumni program too soon, because I would hate for people to lose all of their progress that they've made and lose the momentum that you're getting from that relationship with your coach and the consistency and the compliance that you have being accountable every week. If you were to lose that, from only having a month check-in and having 3 weeks or 4 weeks in between every time you speak to your coach formally, that would be awful, and I would hate to see that happen. So I really hope that that's not the case, and I'm really excited to see how some alumni really flourish on going about this on their own. So who is the alumni program good for? So who I think the alumni program is good for is someone who's who's made a significant amount of progress and they're ready to maintain that progress. Or, you've achieved 1 goal, maybe 2 goals, and, you feel really confident in your tracking skills. So you feel very confident in your tracking skills, but everybody knows that even coaches need coaches. And sometimes making adjustments, you're not going to be able to objectively make adjustments to your macros. You're going to be a little bit biased, I feel a little tired today, so I'm going to have extra carbs tomorrow. So that's definitely something that people would do to their own macros. So an alumni program is going to be perfect for somebody who feels really confident in their tracking and just needs a coach to make that macro adjustment for them monthly. For those of you that have already been on WAG 6 months plus, you know that at certain times, if you've already achieved your goal or you're at this stage of figuring out where you want to be and what your next goal is going to be, adjustments are definitely going to be less frequent. You're working more on lifestyle changes, habits, sustainable relationship with food, that kind of thing. So once a month adjustment is going to be perfect for those people that are at that stage. Another person that this is perfect for is someone who's in some type of competitive sport. So I'm going to use weightlifting, for example, because I was a weightlifter. I would go and in the season of weightlifting, so that's in the preparation for nationals, I would have a macro coach, somebody that I was checking in with weekly. I would always check in with them. I would make sure that they were holding me accountable, that I was on top of my macros. I didn't have to worry about my nutrition. And then as soon as nationals passed, and that was, the top of my competition, that's the biggest competition of the year for me, there was a period of time where it was 3 or 4 months till I was probably going to be competing again. So nutrition was less of a priority, and I could give myself a little bit more flexibility and didn't necessarily need every single week to be checking in with the coach. So the alumni program is perfect for the people that are experiencing an off season, and you go to the alumni program, and then maybe you switch back into the normal program when you're going back into the on season, or you're getting ready to cut weight again. For people that, macros just might not be a top priority for you right now. Maybe you've moved to a new city and you want to explore the city, explore the town, and you don't even necessarily want to be tracking super diligently. You don't even need to be checking in with your coach to make adjustments. It could be just a once a month check-in, like, hey, I'm still around. I still want to be reminded of my goals. I still don't want to get too far off track. I really love this relationship. I love this community, and I really still want to be a part of it. That could be the perfect opportunity for you to just be a part of this long term. So I would love to see all of you here, and you're all awesome and contribute to this community such a positive way. So I hope that this gives a lot of people an opportunity to do that. So you could have maybe had a new move to a new city. Maybe you're going through some life changes like a new job, or you just really want a break and you don't want to be tracking super diligently and don't necessarily need the weekly check-ins for your coach to be like, hey, we need you to be more consistent in order to know what type of adjustments we need to make. So the alumni program is going to be perfect for someone like that as well. What I think is the coolest part of the alumni program altogether is that you're going to have the opportunity to switch back and forth without having to go through any type of waiting list, and without really having to switch any coaches or anything like that. So you're going to be switching into the alumni program. So let's use an off-season, on-season weightlifter for an example. If you are in the off-season and you switch to the alumni program and you're only checking in with your coach once a month, you're working on your relationship with food, just being consistent, moderate, eating with your intuition, that kind of thing. And now the season starts again and you're ready to get super dialed in, get a lot more strict, and you want to have more accountability. So you're going to have the opportunity to flip back into the normal WAG program, back into the weekly check-ins. You're going to go back to your original price that you were grandfathered in at. So if you're paying $160 right now, let's say we went up to $3 million, which we would never do, but if we did, you'd still be paying the $160 if you went back to the regular program. And you could switch back into the regular program. Once the season's over, switch back to the alumni. So it's a perfect scenario for somebody that's going to switch back and forth. Another couple of scenarios of people that might switch back and forth from the alumni program is, let's say you have a wedding coming up and you really want to get super dialed in for that wedding because you want to fit into a specific dress, or you really want to feel your best and feel super confident in your skills, and you really just want somebody to be objective and on top of you, making sure that you're keeping your goals in mind. So switching into the regular WAC program from the alumni program is going to be a really great scenario for someone like that as well. You're getting ready for summer, you're getting ready for a vacation, you're getting ready for a photo shoot. Switching back and forth from the alumni program, even for like just 1 month or 2 months, it's going to be really perfect for those kinds of people. And I would talk to your coach in your monthly check-in on the alumni saying, hey, when do you think I should switch back to the regular WAG program? And then they'll help you work through that kind of stuff. So that's probably what I'm most excited about for the alumni program. Another reason why you might want to switch in and out of the alumni and the regular program would be if you're just going through a hard time. You could be in the alumni program and you feel super confident and you're tracking and things are going amazing. And I know I've been there and I've been doing this for a really long time. And I have moments where, I feel like I've let myself get a little bit too flexible. I've estimated it a little bit too much and I just need someone to give me a kick in the butt. So if you're just going through a hard time and you don't feel confident in your own emotions or self-regulation techniques, going back to that coach that you trust, that you've worked with for well over 6 months at this point, is going to be somebody that's there, that's supporting you, that really cares about you and knows you. So that's about switching back and forth from the alumni to the regular program. Just so all of you know, if any of you have any questions, you can start posting those questions in the comments and I'll see them about the alumni program. You're going to maintain your current membership price always, whether it's the alumni program or the regular program. So if you switch to the alumni program and one day the alumni program rate increases, it might, we never know, you're always going to maintain the rate that you have stayed at, as long as you do not cancel the membership. So once you've canceled your membership, there's a 60-day period where we allow you to come back, but other than that, you will have to go to our current pricing, regardless of whether that's the regular or the alumni. So that's about membership prices. If you guys have any other questions, I just have one more super important piece of information. So I hope everyone's listening. So this part is the most important, and I'm going to make a Facebook post about this right after this Facebook Live, prompting people to check this Facebook Live out and to read that Facebook post. So switching to Seismic was an amazing thing, and then at the same time, Seismic only has the information that's in Seismic. We don't have an easily accessible way, especially since we were in Gmail before, to know exactly how long everyone's been on the program. So on May 15th, the program is going to launch, and you're going to have the opportunity to opt into the alumni program. This requires 6 months of consecutive membership. So nobody has been in Seismic for 6 months consecutive. We have tried every single scenario to try and figure out if we can somehow program in to know when your start date was in Gmail or your start date was on your spreadsheet, but some people have left and come back. So there's no way to really know exactly who's been for 6 months consecutive. So for this first batch of people joining the alumni program, you're gonna have to email info@workingagainstgravity.com, and you're gonna have to get Taylor to manually input you into the alumni program. So if you've been with WAG for 6 months straight, and on May 15th, you would like to opt into the alumni program, Seismic's not going to know that you've been with WAG for 6 months. So you're going to have to email Taylor at info@workingagainstgravity.com, and she's going to manually opt you into the alumni program. You're going to notice that if you go to your billing, there's going to be a little progress bar there that shows you how far along you are, and you're not going to be at the 6 month mark, even though you are. So those people that are ready to opt into the alumni program, definitely on May 15th or May 14th, if you want to do it a day before and get her prepared, let her know that you'd like to opt into the alumni program. I'm going to make a post about this. We've totally tried literally everything we could to make it so that this wouldn't be the case, but Seismic just has the information that's in there. So once you've been in Seismic for 6 months consecutive, then you'll have an option to opt in by yourself. So anyone who started, let's say, in January 1st, February, March, April, May, June, July. So July 1st, you will have the opportunity. It'll pop up on your dashboard. It's going to be this little badge that looks like all the badges that we've been posting on social media and on blogs and stuff. You're going to be able to click that badge, and you're going to be able to opt into the alumni program all by yourself. So you go to billing, you go to opt in, and you all of a sudden are in the alumni, and your coach is going to know you're an alumni, and all of that's going to work out. I'm going to make a specific Facebook post right after this live cast just about that, but keep in mind, Seismic's not going to know that anybody's been with us for 6 months on May 15th, because it's only been 4 months since some people have been in Seismic. Some people didn't even get to Seismic until March. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to email info@workingagainstgravity.com. I have one question about the alumni program. Any other questions about the alumni program, please post them to the comments. I'll definitely answer them. I know that there's going to be so many. I am super patient. I'm totally prepared to answer anyone's questions in the Facebook group all week long, all month long, for the next 10 million years. It doesn't really matter. I'll answer the same question 100 times. It's totally cool. Post them in the comments. That would be cool. So Brittany, so will there be a limit on how much you can message the coach? So we've talked about this. No, there's not going to be a limit on how often you can message your coach. If we find that the alumni program members, or there are a select few or a bunch of alumni program members that are messaging the coach far more than they would have if they were just a regular member, then we might have to limit the messaging in Seismic. Right now, we don't want to do that. I think that most of everyone in the group is really respectful, and we know that you're getting less communication with your coach for a reason, and we're creating a lot of resources for you to be able to do this with less accountability and more independence. So you're not going to get any macro changes in your messages unless it's an exceptional scenario where, you know, something crazy happened, but it's going to be similar to your check-ins where there's not going to be any macro changes outside of your check-ins. You're not going to be talking about that kind of stuff in the messages, and the coaches are going to know that. So we want to keep all of that kind of macro adjustment, looking through your data. The coaches are not going to, outside of certain specific scenarios, go to your logs and check things out for you there. So what is important is to know that, and that we're not going to limit the messages. I hope that we don't have to. I don't think we're going to have to, but right now you can message your coach as much as you want. Jake, in between monthly check-ins, will it be suggested to follow macros set by our coach or play with your macros? That's going to be totally up to you and your coach. I would talk to your coach about it. Let them know that you're going to try things out by yourself if you want to. This is all about trial and error with, you know, this like person that still has the training wheels there for you. So you still, the regular WAG program is like riding a bike with your training wheels, and then taking the training wheels off and still having a spotter is kind of like the Alumni Program. And we do have something coming out in the future that's going to be just for riding the bike on your own. That's not ready yet. So I would work with your coach. Let them know what you're comfortable with. Let them know what it is that your goals are and what the intention is behind, you know, you adjusting your macros on your own. So I would definitely ask them. Me personally, if I was doing the Alumni Program, I would just listen to what my coach was saying, because I feel like if I make my own macro changes, I often change because I want to, not because I should. So, you know, fat is delicious, so I give myself more fat just because. But everyone is completely different. So it really is going to depend on you, and your coach can guide you through that and help you with what they think based on how they know you. So there's going to be no super straight answer to that question. So I hope that answers it enough. If there's any more questions about the Alumni Program, let me know in the comments. I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I will make that post in the Facebook group about the fact that Seismic won't know who's been with us for 6 months consecutive. So you're going to have to message info to opt in to the Alumni Program on May 15th. That is going to be super important. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit to my morning routine. And if you still have questions about the Alumni Program, you can definitely put them in the comments. So I'll answer them at the end. For my morning routine, somebody asked about what that looks like and how I implement it and stay consistent with it. So when life is perfect and I'm doing exactly what I want to be doing, I'm working out. Each workout, I'm part of a gym here called CrossFit Yakarhu in CrossFit in Austin. And that gym, Michael and I, we do the 5:30 a.m. competitive class. And that it goes from 5:30 to around 7:15. So I don't wake up much before 5:30. I'll wake up at 4:50. We set coffee the night before. So we'll grind some coffee the night before. We'll grab a to-go cup of coffee. And we get to the gym with around 10 to 15 minutes to spare just to warm up. To stretch. I have some lingering shoulder pain that I like to warm up before I start working out. Michael had spinal fusion surgery, so he likes to do some stretching before he starts working out in the morning as well. So we get there with a little bit of time to spare, start working out at 5:30, end at 7:15. We get back home. Then we make breakfast. I make pretty much the same breakfast every single day. It's a sweet potato hash with a bunch of cubed sweet potatoes, peppers, onions, bacon. I pour a bunch of egg whites in there. Sometimes I add Brussels sprouts. We'll change up the ingredients every once in a while to change it up so we don't get too bored. But we pretty much love that breakfast. So we make that breakfast almost every morning. And at this point, we have not touched our phones at all. So just for people, our cell phones are not in our room with us when we sleep. They're actually on the kitchen island. And we don't look at our phones until after we've had breakfast, we've had our time where we're being present with each other, we're asking each other about what we're doing today, what our plans are for the day, how the workout went in the morning. We're very rejuvenated. Then both of us will go into Michael's office and we'll meditate for the morning. That's usually 10 to 20 minutes of meditation. I go to my office, I'll do my gratitude journal, and then that's the end of my morning routine. So when that ends, I give myself a little reward. So in my morning routine, I always save like the thing that I'm most excited for the end. So that like, it's like doing hard first, easy later. So if you do the difficult things or the things that you're not excited about or the things that, you know, are more of like a drag or mundane, like meditation for me is never fun. Like I'm never craving meditation per se or excited to do seated meditation. So I put right before I start my day, I give myself the opportunity to check social media. I go on Facebook, I go on Instagram. I love seeing what happened overnight. I love seeing, you know, if anybody commented on any of my stuff. You know, you get that little bit of like, ooh, like people are excited to see my photo, or what's going on in the WAG members page, or did anything crazy happen. So I stick just to social media. I won't look at my email in that scenario. Sometimes if I look at my email in that scenario, if something like crazy happened in my email, that's going to like overwhelm me and it's going to ruin the positive feeling that I'm getting from social media. And all I'll be thinking about is that email that I need to act on. And if you're not going to act on it then, there's no point in even looking at it. So I'll save looking at it for after I've gone through social media, after I've gone through Facebook, and then finally I'll write down my plan for the day. So in order to be most productive, I really need to know what I need to even get done. I don't like just opening my email and going email by email. Answering emails isn't necessarily productive in terms of progressing your business or progressing yourself. It's kind of reactive, like you're just responding to a bunch of people. So instead I write down 3 things that I want to get done for the day that have nothing to do with email. If I only answered emails all day, I don't necessarily feel as productive or like I've done a lot of progress. So I'll write down the 3 things that I really want to get done by the end of the day. And my favorite thing that I use right now, which one of our tech guys, Matthew Cooper, turned me on to, it's called Wunderlist. Wunderlist with a U instead of with an O. And that is like a glorified to-do list, essentially. And you can put different items on your to-do list. And when you put the item there, you can also add a file to it. You can put a due date on it. You can set an alarm. It's cross-platform as well, so it can be on your cell phone as well as on your computer. And so I really love that it's like that, and it lets you like click it off and then it disappears. So I use Wunderlist for the day, and I keep referencing my Wunderlist if I'm going to and from things I'm doing and email. So I know exactly what it is I wanted to get done that day. So that is my morning routine in the perfect life scenario, and if everything is going really, really, really well. For times where, you know, life happens and life isn't going that well, I'll pick things that are my top priorities that make me feel like, you know, I've got some sense of control. So for instance, Michael and I just got married 2 weeks ago for the second time. For those of you that don't know, we eloped last year and we had a party 2 weeks ago, which was amazing. And then we went on our honeymoon for a week in southern Utah. And in southern Utah, we just had no routine at all. We woke up every single morning as early as we possibly could because we were exhausted from activities all day. We backpacked. We were often without cell reception. We did not check our cell phones. We completely unplugged for a full 5 days. It was amazing. And then when we got back home, it throws things off. Just, you know, it's really hard to just like, I mean, I'm sure some people can do it, but for me, it's really hard to just get back into the routine all over again. Back into working out at 5:30 a.m., back into meditating, back into planning my things out, my gratitude journal, not looking at my cell phone. So, you know, you're a little bit tired, your willpower is a little bit strained, you've just experienced not being diligent at all, and it takes a little bit of extra effort to get back into the swing of things. So this past week has been a little bit more difficult, but I pick out of my morning routine the top things that, you know, make me feel like I'm still staying on track. So my top 3 things are, 1, I don't snooze. So when the alarm goes off, it's out of bed. I don't snooze. I don't want to feel like I'm choosing to put off my day. I just get up out of bed. I choose a time that the alarm's going to go off that I know I'm not going to be too tired. I know that I've gotten enough sleep. So I get up right when the alarm goes off. So that's 1. It's my number 1 priority. Number 2 is super simple, and I keep it super simple because I want to feel like I've been accomplished. And I don't like to keep things really complicated so that I feel like I'm failing when it's already a little bit extra difficult because I'm out of routine. So number 2 is I just make my bed. So Michael gets out of bed before me. I like to have a little bit of sleep just in the bed by myself. So he gets out of the bed before me, and I make the bed every single morning. It's so simple, but that's part of the morning routine that I feel kind of accomplished. And I get out of bed, don't press snooze, and I make the bed every morning. Then number 3 is I won't touch my phone until after breakfast. So if I can do those 3 things, I know that I'm a little bit on track, and then the other things that are a little bit more difficult will take some time, but they will come back. And the longer that you practice and you just be consistent and be compassionate with yourself, it's okay to not be perfect all the time. And it's just practice and time and consistency. It's exactly like tracking your macros. You track your macros for long enough, you're going to get super confident with it, and you're going to feel more comfortable, and it's going to become a little bit more second nature. So my morning routine is not 100% automatic at this point. I still have some work to do on making sure that in any scenario I can be successful. So I pick 3 things that I know I can be successful regardless of if things are going well, if things are not going well, if I'm out of routine, if I'm in routine, whatever it is. So that's what I have about morning routine. That's what I have about the Alumni Program. We'll wait couple seconds to see if anyone has any questions about the Alumni Program, or if anyone has any questions about my morning routine. I would be happy to answer them. And of course, if you post any comments afterwards, if someone's watching this after the fact, after this has been posted, definitely post into the comments and I'll answer them. I'm also going to answer these questions for the next few months, and I'm totally okay with that. I'm very nervous about launching a whole new program. I really hope that this is going to be successful and we're giving you guys exactly what you asked for. And yeah, so thank you for all of you guys listening to me. And if there's no more questions, then I spoke really fast, and I will head out for the day and go hang out with my little new puppy. So thanks for listening, guys.